finished programming in the zones, and just to show it in action, so if I turn this one off, next 3 and next 3. And how cool is that? I haven't had to change any wiring in the house. Now it's clearer what the issues can be. So you can see, because the LEDs in the Ajax one are so close together, it literally just looks like a single line. Whereas a Philips Hue one, you can see the gaps in between each one. And there you go, firmly in position now. And look at that, as a corner, that's an excellent finish on there. Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a smart switch, LED strip and some GU10 bulbs from a company called Ajax Online. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. We'll also do a comparison between their LED strip and Philips Hue's one, together with their GU10 bulbs with Philips Hue as well. And also worth mentioning, Philips Hue do a dimmer switch as well. And you'll see for yourself, this one blows away the Philips Hue one completely. So looking at the switch itself, it's got a glass finish on there. Looking around there, glossy plastic. And then if I come around the other side, there's a plastic flap here. And the switch itself just clips into position on here. Now you can see there's some holes on there, and that's so you can screw it into a normal light switch if you wanted to. So your normal light switch here, if you look, the holes marry up with what's behind there. So you could literally take this off, the 2 wires going in there, you can connect them up, and it's permanently live. Obviously, if you're not sure how to work with electrics, get an electrician in to do this. But a pretty straightforward task to do. And once you've done that, you can just mount that where your existing light switch is, and that'll avoid the issue where people come along, they turn off the switch and you can't control your lights after that. So you just use that as a switch. It can also be used just as a remote as well. So if you want it to work with your existing light switch, obviously make sure your light switch is on, and then once it's on, this is in action. Now the cool thing about this is you can control the colors. If you've got RGB GU10 bulbs, you've got color selection over here, a slider for saturation, a slider for dimmer, and then you've got white selection, mode there, speed options, and then you've got zones. So the one on the left selects all the zones, but you could have 4 individual zones on here. Now coming over to Philips Hue dimmer switch, you don't have any facilities like this. Literally turn it on, turn it off, brighten it up and dim it, and that's it. That's all you have available. So what takes this to the next level is the fact that even it doesn't need to be wired in, it's just a complete remote control on this. So the LED strip and the GU10 bulbs, they're Zigbee based products. They work with Philips Hue Hub and SmartThings. The switch is only able to work with Ajax Online Zigbee Pro Series. So if you did try and pair it up with Philips Hue, GU10 and the LED strip, it's not going to work at all. So keep that in mind if you're getting this. The devices themselves, obviously they'll go through the standard methods of adding them in to your hub. But if you don't know how to add it into the Philips Hue Hub, for example, I'll include a card in the corner there. So just click that to see installation and setup details for the Philips Hue Hub. And that'll have instructions of adding the devices in. Price-wise, it's considerably cheaper than the Philips Hue products. For a like-for-like comparison, you'll get more for your money with Ajax Online. Okay, so in terms of getting this set up, just to talk you through the buttons here. So you've got an all button here and 1, 2, 3, 4 on there. So the numbers represent the different zones, and all obviously controls all the zones at the same time. Now the way this works is when you program the zone in, you've got to make sure the lights are turned off. So for instance, on my ceiling here, I've got 9 lights. So I just need to decide what zones I want to create. So I can create 3 zones, for instance. So I could do perhaps the first 3 there is 1, and then zone 2, and then zone 3 there. So the way this works is they've got to ensure the light isn't physically on for the zone to be programmed. So in this instance, what I'm going to have to do is take the bulbs out, which I don't want in the zone, and put in the ones that I want in the zone. Let's make a start at setting this up. So what I've done, I removed 6 of the bulbs, so the row over here and the row in the middle, and I've left the row at the end in there still. Now the way to get this paired up to the zone, what you got to do is turn the lights on and press the on button 3 times repeatedly to get it linked up to the lights. So now if I turn it on, and now if I press off, there you go. Simple as that to pair up. And just showing functionality wise, change the color straight off that. How cool is that? So what we'll do next, we'll programming number 2 to be the middle row and the row on the right to be number 3. So let me do that off camera because it's just a similar process. Now I've finished programming in the zones, and just to show it in action, so if I turn this one off, 3 of them turn off, next 3, and next 3. And how cool is that? I haven't had to change any wiring in the house, literally just program each row in as a different zone. And if you look over here, the all button, so if I press the top, by default it just works. So it will just turn on all the zones and it will turn off all the zones by pressing the bottom one. There you go. Excellent, and really simple to set up. Now in terms of colors as well, so if I just come over here, instant one touch, change a color. Excellent. Now coming over here, dim them down, brighten them up again. Coming over here. So simple to do, really impressed with this switch. Next, just to demonstrate the switch working with an LED strip. So this is the one from Ajax Online, and pairing wise, it's exactly the same as with the GU10s. So I've already paired it up. If I turn it on now, there you go, you can see it. And color changes together with brightness changes on here. And again, saturation levels on there. White over here. And then same as before, you can turn off all the lights with that and turn them all on at the same time. And it's nice, you can mix and match, so you can put in, obviously if you had a number of LED strips, you can put it into one zone, or if you wanted to mix up certain LED strips with certain zones, you can mix that up as well. So good functionality coming off this. Next, just to show everything working at the same time, so I've got my LED strip set up at the back and all the spotlights. So if I now turn it on, there you go. The strip there is the LED strip just over there, and I can turn it off from this. Obviously turn off first row, second, third. Excellent, look at that. Nothing to program in, no messing around with an app, just straight from the remote here. Let's turn it all on now. All the colors can be changed at the same time. Some great functionality. So normally, if you think about it, it is a hassle going into your app, changing the colors. This just saves you that aggro. Now, if I come over and I turn everything off, turn one of them on, change the color on one of them, brightness level, take that up, and then turn on the next one, turn that off, change that color, turn that on. So you can individually color the zones as well. It's very easy. And I think it's actually easier than an app, for sure. And there you go. Then we turn them all on. Excellent functionality from this. Now, if you wanted to unlink one of the zones, all you do is turn off your light switch, wait for around 10 seconds, turn on the light switch again, and the zone you want to unlink, just press the button for that zone, the on button, 5 times repeatedly, and that'll unlink it. Now, in terms of the sound as well, just to show, that can be turned off as well. So if I hold on to the off button for about 10 seconds, and there you go, it turns off. So now if I use it, it's muted. So excellent. So if it is bugging you, you can turn it off. Turning that noise back on again, just hold on to the on button for about 10 seconds. There you go, it comes back on again. Let's do a brief comparison between the Philips Hue GU10s and the ones from Ajax. So the Ajax ones come with this card, and they have 2 variants on their side. So 120 degree, and if I turn this, you've got a 30 degree one as well. Just shows you how much coverage you're going to get off the bulbs. So that's their ones. Philips Hue coming at 43 degrees. It's a little bit more than there. Now, in terms of energy usage on the Philips Hue, you've got 5.7 watts. On the Ajax Online, you've got 4 watts. Lumens wise, 350 for Philips Hue, and Ajax comes in at 300, and energy rating on both of these are A+. Looking at the 3 bulbs in line, you can see this is the 30 degree one, and it's got LEDs going all the way around, and this is the 120 degree one from Ajax, and that's obviously got a bit of a covering on there, and that's the Philips Hue one. You can see it's frosted out. Now, in terms of build quality, the Ajax ones actually have metal going around this area. So plastic here, but metal around this area, and even over here it's metal, whereas the Philips Hue one is plastic casing all the way around. Now, to compare the 2 bulbs, you can see the Philips Hue one sticks up a little bit at the top, And if you look at the bottom, it comes in about 0.5 centimeter shorter than the Ajax Online one. In terms of controllability, you can use the Philips Hue one in conjunction with the hub, or even use via Bluetooth. You can also pair it with the Philips Hue remote, but you can't pair it with the remote that Ajax does. Next, let's do a comparison of the 3 LEDs. So if I now turn them on at the same time, I've got them placed in my studio. The one on the left hand side is the 120 degree from Ajax, and the 30 degree one is in the middle, and the one from Philips Hue is on the right hand side. Now immediately when you look right above, color levels seem very similar. When you look on the wall, that's where you see a bit more of a difference. You can see more of the color going onto the wall with the 120 degree one. Obviously it's spread out more. Now coming down to the floor, this is where you'll see more of the 30 degree one from Ajax, whereas when you look at the Philips Hue, there's nothing literally on the floor. You see brighter levels from the 30 degree one. Now moving the slider around here to get different levels, the warm white level is pretty good on the Philips Hue at the side, but again, the 30 degree beam coming down does look stronger. I don't know how much justice the camera's giving to it, but again, as I'm coming around, you can see the walls themselves as well. The spread on the wall is minimal, you know, from the 30 degree and the Philips Hue one. So if I keep going, and again, every time the 30 degree one looks brighter on the floor. Now, if I go over to RGB, and now we press and do the same thing again, start coming round, the results are pretty much the same. And that's quite blatant on that one. You can see the 30 degree bulb giving a much brighter color on the floor. So interesting results, just seeing this and seeing all 3 bulbs in action. I hope the quality is good enough to give you an idea yourself. So when you're actually picking out bulbs, things to be aware of, obviously the angle you're going to get on there and what you're trying to achieve in the room. Now coming over to the setting I have at the moment, interestingly enough, the Philips Hue scored better on this one because you can see the brightness levels seem much brighter on the wall and the floor, just at this point here. Now coming across more, you see difference. So the next thing I wanted to show is a comparison between the Ajax Online Pro Series LED strip and the Philips Hue Light Strip Plus. Now I've laid them side by side with a ruler just below them, just to show first of all, in terms of spacing of LEDs, the Ajax Online one has a gap of about 1 centimeter between each LED, whereas the Philips Hue one has 3 LEDs and then a gap of 4 centimeters between each. Now in terms of brightness, the Ajax Online one comes in at 2000 lumens, whereas the Light Strip Plus comes in at 1600 lumens. Brightness levels are higher with the Ajax Online one. In terms of controllability, the Ajax Online one can be controlled without a Zigbee hub, using the controller I've already shown, whereas the Philips Hue one can't. In terms of LEDs per meter, Ajax ones are 96 per meter and Philips Hue are 54 per meter. So literally double what Philips Hue is offering. Expandability wise, Philips Hue you can have up to 10 meters, whereas the Ajax Online one you can get up to 20 meters, but you've got to use their power amplifier to power it. And when you're using that, you won't get any dimming at the end of the strip. The LED chips themselves, the Ajax ones are 5-in-1, whereas you can see from the Philips Hue, you've got 3 separate chips on there. And Ajax actually has Plaster in channels. So I'll show them in a bit, but what that lets you achieve is a seamless light strip with no dark areas. So a lot of the time when you're using an LED strip, you'll see gaps between the LEDs. Whereas with this, if you use the Plaster in channel, you're not going to get that. Ajax is cuttable every 6 centimeters, whereas the Philips Hue is every 33 centimeters. Next, just to demonstrate the quality of the lighting coming off the LED strips, so I've added both the strips into the Hue app and I can control them both at the same time and give them the same colors, so you can see for yourself what it's going to be like. So if I turn them on, instantly you can see you're getting more light off the Ajax one, and if I slowly spin this around, so you've got the warm whites here, and coming around we're going to go on to the cool whites. So it's nice having more LEDs obviously on the strip, gives a more consistent color on there without breaks in there. Now if I take up the brightness slowly, there you go, the giveaway is there straight away. More LEDs, obviously brighter LEDs. So it's going to be much brighter than the Philips Hue one. And that's at maximum. Now if I flip over to color and hit one of the colors, there you go, and I'll spin the wheel round. You can see for yourself. Color representation on both strips is very good. And let's continue going around. And there you go, you can see for yourself. Looks great. Now here's an interesting accessory to show. This is a plaster in channel. So you can use this in conjunction with your LED strip. So your LED strip would go inside there, and all this is a bit of aluminium, you can see for yourself, and a plastic cover on there. So it's just a matter of just pulling off the plastic cover, placing your LED strip in there and sticking it down. And obviously it's maintainable as well, so you can remove these plastic strips during and after installation. And looking at the edge, there's a small gap here. You'd screw in the channel onto your plasterboard and then skim across so it's flush against the actual channel itself. So a great idea really, just to make things blended into a wall or ceiling. Next, just to demonstrate the plaster in channels in action. Now it's clearer what the issues can be. So you can see, because the LEDs in the Ajax one are so close together, it literally just looks like a single line. Whereas a Philips Hue one, you can see the gaps in between each one. Now, if I take the brightness down, just to show, that's minimal brightness. And then it looks quite cool on the top one. I'll take it up slightly. You can see for yourself what to expect. Now if I go just the different colors, so that's cool white now coming round. And now let's flip over to RGB. And there you go. Looks pretty cool as a consistent line. So if you did have it in a ceiling or in a wall, it would look amazing. Some additional accessories you can buy for the LED strip are extension cables here. So Ajax Online do sell these extensions where you can plug in obviously the pin connectors into it, and the other end can go to your next LED strip. Next thing worth mentioning, if you're going to be installing this on a corner, for instance, the way you'd go is like this, but isn't a very clean way of doing things. Now, I sometimes get asked that, can you cut the LED strips? And you can cut these. And you can buy additional accessories to allow you to join multiple strips together. So you've got an extension connector here, you've got a more of a flexible one with this, then you've got a straight connector here, and you literally just place your LED strip in each end and then clips into place. And a corner one. So this is quite a useful one to have, and I'll show it how to connect it up. And it's just a matter of peeling off some of the tape on there. Be careful with the LED, which is just here as you're plugging this in. Just slide it into position and then just push it down. So all the time, just making sure you don't damage that LED that's in there. And there you go, it's as simple as that. Just make sure it locks in nicely into position. And there you have it. Let me do the same for the other side. And there you go, firmly in position now. And look at that, as a corner, that's an excellent finish on there. So it is removable as well. So if I come in and prise out the sides on each point, it can be lifted off again and removed. And there you go, that's what the LED looks like working with the connector in place. So I'll include some links in the description below for these connectors as well. So there you go, I hope it's helped anyone thinking of looking to buy a smart dimmer switch. Works really well and blows away the Philips Hue dimmer switch completely. In terms of quality of the LED strips, you've seen for yourself, better quality, more LEDs on the strip. And if you use a diffuser, you can see a consistent line on that. So if that's what you're after, you're going to get a really good quality LED strip here. And even in terms of brightness levels from the GU10s, comparable and even better than what you're getting from the Philips Hue GU10s. Negatives for the product, shame it doesn't work with a Philips Hue, but other than that, a great product. So there you go, I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing these. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. Hang around for the end cards for some more smart tech. Drop me a like if you've liked this video and let me know what you thought of this device. Thanks for viewing and see you in the next one.